thinking next week we get something funkier and dirtier?
Daddy. Hey, one time my wife and I, crazy. All right, it may take you a while. It may take you quite a bit of time to find it. But, okay, everyone, Christ, I need some help. Can I have a hug?
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Maddie. You had one job to get Blazer to say my name, and you failed. So I'm calling you out. Welcome to episode 107 of the Rubio Method. My name is Chris Rubio. This is going to be a very, very interesting show. I thought I was actually going to take a week off, but then Jenna contacted me immediately on Thursday, I believe it was, or Wednesday, and said, did you see this? And I said, oh, here we go. If Jenna's involved, then it's got to be something we're going to talk about. So we're going to lean heavily into the whole Charlie Kirk conversation, and I'm trying to open up some eyes on it and see exactly what's going to happen and things like that, because there's new details coming out literally by the second at all times. And I'm trying to open up some eyes, like I said, about things that happened within it that a lot of people don't know, because I'm trying, as always, to see both sides of it, as you know, just see what's going on, see what everyone's thinking about. And it's kind of an eye opener for a lot of people. Jenna and I were just talking before the show, and she says, I'm noticing a lot of stuff on social media, especially for Facebook, with people's comments and things like that, which you can have comments, but you can also have the consequence of comments as well. So for everything happens for a reason, and it's going to talk about another day I will not forget. There are winners and losers in life. Time to pay the piper. Accept and embrace. This is no longer a balanced issue. Working hard is not enough. Time to be very vocal with people around you, and confidence is the key. There's going to be 5 quick questions from Jenna. All right, so everything happens for a reason. Let's just jump right into this. In my lifetime, there's been 3. Nanamona says, hello, Nanamona. There's been several things that you very, very specifically remember. Okay. I say the first one was probably the Challenger shuttle. I think I was in 5th grade. Everyone brought the TVs in because there was going to be a teacher on the space shuttle, whatever. And we're all watching, and boom, there it goes. And it just explodes. And I remember, whoa, this is kind of a big moment here. Probably shouldn't be showing 10-year-olds this. The next one, I remember, I think it was 1992, when I found out that Magic Johnson had AIDS or HIV, whatever he had. I remember very, very specifically where I was. He was basically a hero of mine, and I watched the Lakers a lot growing up in Los Angeles, and I remember very, very specifically where I was on that. 9/11, obviously, I was teaching at that time, and it happened, boom, right before the classes started, and so I had to navigate that with, 146 graders, so that was kind of an interesting time. That was before social media, so it was a little bit easier, so to speak. Also, I remember Kobe Bryant, when I found out that he was killed in a helicopter crash. 100% remember that. I was walking into Costco, and it just took a chill over my body. Like, oh my God, did this really just happen? Obviously, I remember the exact moment where El Trampo being shot, because that could have really changed the course of America just a tad. And I also remember when I heard or saw that Charlie Kirk had got shot. Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th, 2025, in case you've been in a cave. I'm not going to tell you the guy who killed him, because I don't want to give him any more publicity than he already has. Charlie Kirk was probably the biggest influencer on the youth movement for politics. He swayed the youth vote 14% in favor El Trumpo. Okay, the only people that went left were the boomers. That basically people 60 and over. They went 2% left. Charlie Kirk led a massive, massive movement through his Turning Point organization, where he would go on to college campuses. He was just at Washington State, I think, about a couple months ago, and he was actually going to go to my middle kids' school, Montana State. He was headed there in about 3 weeks, and the professors had already told the kids, hey, we're going to let you out, so you can go listen to this guy. So that obviously got canceled. It was quite obvious, if you were watching not mainstream media, that the person that killed this Charlie Kirk was a 22-year-old nut job. I mean, absolutely. As soon as they found out his name, it was very, very obvious. If you have not seen the video of Charlie Kirk being assassinated, I would highly recommend you do not. Unfortunately, I know it went around social media very, very quickly. So a lot of people, especially children, were able to see it because they're on their phones a lot. And it's not something that should be seen, because I remember sending it to someone that I know, and they said, is this AI? And I said, I don't think it is, man. I hope it is, but I don't think it is. And it turns out it wasn't. But so you're saying to yourself, Rubio, how did mainstream media, what did the major, Twitter people say? Okay. Jenna, can you show the photo of this kid with the Trump shirt on? Okay, so you can see the picture on the right for all those listening on Spotify and iTunes. It's just a picture of this kid in his dorm room, just your average looking, white kid. He's got jeans, Converse All-Stars, just a shirt and a hat. Immediately, Anonymous, that's an X account, puts out tired of these terrorists and puts on the Trump shirt. So they just Photoshop it on and he's saying tired of these terrorists, assuming, trying to show his audience that, okay, this kid's a Trump follower, because everyone wants to put it, okay, what's going on here? Is it right or is it left? You're thinking, well, how big of a deal is that? Well, let's just put it this way. That post, tired of these terrorists, had 474,000 views and 27,000 likes in 1 hour. And then as soon as everyone figured it out, it got community noted. Basically, that's the law of X, saying, yeah, this is actually fake. Mainstream media insisted he simply could not be left-wing radical because he had two parents. He was white, raised in a good home, and went to college. Do you understand that that's not a good look? If you're saying, hey, this guy can't be a left-wing nut because left-wingers don't have two parents, they're not white, and they're not raised in good areas. You're making yourself look bad on that one. Like that's where I laughed out loud when I was watching this. I go, you're saying that you're the opposite of this, and you should want people to be raised in two-parent households. Okay. And Jenna's saying, scary how we can't believe anything anymore. And it's 100%. So they turned him in after they saw his pic. His parents did, because photos started going around. They turned him in, mom and dad. He was I think former sheriff and a minister, and they turned him in because they saw a pic and they said, okay, that gun looks really familiar. And it turns out it was his grandpa's gun. So the whole gun argument would be thrown out because this kid didn't buy the gun, and it was just a single bolt action gun. It was not an automatic gun. So you're going to take away every gun, because that's the big argument right now. And you're thinking, what would cause this kid to be so angry to shoot another human being that wasn't threatening them, and do it from 200 yards away on a roof, blah, blah, blah. Jenna, can you show the Morning Joe clip this is what happened for the last 10 years, basically.
When is this going to end? How can we come together? Had one law enforcement officer say, how do we keep social media away from our children? How much longer does this continue? He will get away with, he will imprison, he will execute whoever he's allowed to imprison, execute.
So they're talking about Al Trumpo right there, but Charlie Kirk was he was his right-hand man. I mean, he was right there with him all the time. Like I said, he swayed 15% of the youth to go for El Trumpo. And El Trumpo's even said, Charlie Kirk is the reason why I won. So when you hear that El Trumpo and his followers are the devil and Nazis and all that, and a fascist over and over and over and over, if you're young and impressionable, you're going to be intimidated by that. And your mind is going to be melted to where you just think that's the truth. And so that's what mainstream media pushed over and over and over and over and over. And so why wouldn't someone who's, he was raised conservatively, he goes off to college, and then within a very, very short span, he's easily swayed. Okay. He's easily swayed. He's really gets into the LGBTQ trans movement and became very, very left leaning, very left within a very short time span. And this is why I've said several times, if you are going to college, make sure you talk to your kids. And we'll talk about this. If your kids are going to college, make sure you talk to them about the ideology that's going on there, because it's one of those things that you think, oh, my kid's going to go to college. He's 18 years old. He's so, it'll be a great influential time for him. Yeah, but there's a lot of bad stuff out there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff where you just look and go, okay, if my kid didn't know any better, it'd be very, very odd. My middle son, he went to college, and the first day he was there, he's still in college, his old college. First day he was there, he goes into class, and he's a big dude, and his professor goes in wearing a do-rag. He said, it looked like me, my darkness, wearing a muumuu. So I don't know if you don't know what a muumuu is. It's like a big, I guess it would be like a bathrobe for chicks. I don't know. It's just a big dress. Like, imagine like a girl wearing like a 9X shirt. And the professor gets up and says, "Hi, I'm Professor Smith," or whatever it is. It was obvious dude and full beard, and says, "Just giving you heads up, Sundays I like to be called Nancy." And my kid, called us that and said, "Well, what's going on here?" It's like, "Dude, you just got to do what you got to do, but you just know what's right and what's wrong." And we'll move from there, because this is something that is so out there, so awkward, that it gets pushed so hard by people that if you don't affirm what they're doing, they think you're a threat to their life. So why wouldn't this person be a threat to you? Why wouldn't Charlie Kirk be a threat to you? And all he was doing was talking. That was the big thing, is that he would go to college campuses. He would say, "Prove me wrong." And they would come up with a microphone. They would talk to him. They would ask him questions. He'd say, "Okay, here's what I think, blah, blah, blah." He was never violent, never rude. I watched thousands of clips of him. Honestly, I was not a big overall fan of his show and or clips, because to me, it was almost boring, because he dominated people so quickly and so bad that it'd be like watching Michael Jordan play a third grader in basketball. Like you'd watch it one time, go, "Okay, that he got destroyed," and then you just move on, because he was so intellectually smart. He was so well read, and he never went to college, and he flat out admitted it all the time. He goes, "I didn't go to college. I just read a lot." And so that's why, if you ever thought like, "Wow, this guy's really intelligent. He must have gone to the Harvard or UCLA or USC or something like that." No. He just read, and he just read the right things. He just read books, and he learned about the government and things like that, and read the Constitution and, all that good stuff. And he just advanced in life. And so he would just argue with people, and he would debate. And one of the main things he talked about was like the Matt Walsh one, where Matt Walsh is a political commentator, where he made a movie. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. It's called "What is a Woman?" And Charlie Kirk would ask that all the time. What is a woman? And they couldn't answer. It's like, this is the most basic question of all time. If you can't answer this, well, we've got a really bad problem. Jenna says he never got accepted to the college he wanted to go to. Probably a good thing that he didn't. So today, if you saw the clip, there was an older white guy, probably 65, 70 years old. Boom. Right when it happens, he says, "I did it. I did it. I did it." The cops tackle him, and everyone said, "Okay, we got the guy." It turns out that this guy is a boomer lib, and he's 65, 70 years old, probably watches mainstream media all the time. He did that just so the actual killer could have an escape plan, because he knew, I didn't kill him, so I'm just going to say I did. And so this was going to give the actual person who did shoot him an escape plan. Well, it turns out that guy there, he's obviously an accomplice now, because he admitted that he did that, and they found child porn on his computer. So enjoy prison for probably the rest of your life, bud. Good, smart move. Text messages just came out today from the dude and his boyfriend. This is the killer. His boyfriend, who is a dude, but's transitioning to a woman. So it's a trans guy, trans girl. I don't know how that works, but they were living together, and text messages came out today, and they're very odd. Okay. At first you're like, okay, he definitely admits it, because even on the bullet, he wrote, "Hey, fascist, catch," on one of the bullet casings. And he had all this other Antifa slogans on it, where it's just basically very pro-left, very anti-Charlie Kirk, very anti-right. They had a whole bunch of little slogans that they wrote, but "Hey, fascist, catch" on the bullet casing, that kind of gives it away, bud. But if you read the text messages, they are very, very odd, because, and I just pulled it up because it's just coming out right now. It's in his text to the boyfriend. He makes his confession. He confirms location of the weapon, confirms the type of the weapon, confirms it was wrapped in a towel. Like, why would, if you're texting your boyfriend or girlfriend, why would you say all these things? Like, it's one of those things that you got to put your tinfoil hat on a little bit, but okay. He confirms his motive, exonerates the decoy, admits to the bullet engravings, confirms the wardrobe change, confirms how long he's been planning it, but the boyfriend said he didn't know about it at all. If you were boyfriend and your girlfriend, or girlfriend and boyfriend, or however you're doing it here, wouldn't you talk to the person a little bit about, oh, by the way, tomorrow I'm going to go do this assassination attempt? Yeah, you probably would. I'm sorry, you'd had some discussions on it. Confirms how long he's been planning it, discloses the existence and location of a now destroyed pre-written confession note, randomly tells his boyfriend that his dad is a diehard MAGA, as if he wouldn't have already known that. If your dad, if they were in a relationship, you don't think he would have said, "Oh, my dad he's really into El Trumpo and MAGA." I'm probably sure that's probably one of the first things that would come up, and is worried about his dad or grandpa being upset that if he doesn't come home with his rifle, that the fact that he used it just to commit murder. Also, he uses the terms like this. Now, 22-year-olds, I'm not sure how many would use these terms. Squad car, drop point, swept the area, my vehicle. Who the hell says my vehicle? You say car. Till I died of old age, and my old man, I'll give you that. Some people say that, but it's very, very odd, these text messages that are coming out, because they just sound super weird. And he even confessed that he says, he thought Charlie was just too hateful. Okay. Just too hateful. What? So, and then if you look up why, like, what do you think he's hateful for? You could find thousands and thousands and possibly millions of hours of clips on this guy. And people are editing clips to make him look more racist, or just not more, just racist, or hate LGBTQ, or hate women, or things like that. It's like, if he was truly this bad, you wouldn't need to edit clips. They wouldn't need to edit clips. And so that's the thing. And that's my big point here. And the only argument I keep saying for everyone else, because there's a lot of people on Facebook. Jenna was just telling me how she's gotten into a couple fights on Facebook about this, where they are dancing on his grave, so to speak, where they couldn't be happier. And this is a great awakening where I've silenced, I don't know if it's called silenced or just hushed or whatever it's called, hidden, probably about 70 people on Facebook, just because if I see someone cheering this on, number one, I know you're ill-informed or uninformed. Number two, I know you're an idiot, because it was no mystery that I wasn't a big fan of Joey B. I'd never, ever wanted to see him assassinated, because he's the leader of my country. I love my country more than I disliked Joey B. And these people just, they get fed a narrative over and over and over and over and over, and they think it's gospel, and they don't realize that it's not even true. Not even true. All this guy wanted to do was talk. That's it. That's all he wanted to do. And another thing they bring up besides the gun argument is, what about Melissa Hortman? Melissa Hortman. She was a person in, I think, a senator or congresswoman who just had her house raided. They killed her husband, and even their dog. And everyone's saying, well, why didn't the flags go half staff for her? And El Trumbo just said, because the governor never asked. If he would have asked, I would have said yes. Very simple. And you know why? And everyone's like, this was not even in the news. It wasn't even news at all. Why was it not in the news? Look who the killer was. The killer worked for Tim Walz. The killer also worked. Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota, by the way, who has hired him. She was killed because she just voted for something on the right. She was a Democrat. And just before then, she went and boom, voted just a day before for something that a lot of Democrats said, you can't vote this way. We need to vote for Democrat. She said, nah, we're actually wrong on this one. I need to vote Republican on this one. And the person that shot her even had in his car, no King's flyers. Remember that whole thing where Trump was a king? So why do you think the mainstream media stopped reporting about it? Because it was a left-wing nut job. That's why. That's the reason why. So don't yell at the right side, but yell at the mainstream media. That's why. That's also why we're going to do a quick break. Then we're going to come back to their winners and losers in life. Jenna, I'm out.
You have been watching The Rubio Method. Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. 34, talking to you. I think it's your first night off. Let's go and enjoy a beverage later. Let's do that. All right. Welcome back to the Rubio Method. This is episode 107. I want to thank everyone commenting on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We'll be on Spotify and iTunes within about 24 hours, as soon as Jenna uploads it or downloads it or whatever it does. And Rumble. Thank you, Jenna. Okay. Rumble as well. There are winners and losers life. Future generations, if raised correctly, will be fine. They're going to be fine, because I have a feeling this is going to do something that it's not intended to do. But there's still, like I was talking about, people that are dancing on the grave of Charlie Kirk. Jenna, show this video and just of the little girls. And I want you to imagine if this was your children, or if you knew someone who raised their children like this, and how disgusting this actually is.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift.
Okay. Now, if you couldn't hear, she says, I got the best news ever. And a girl, for those listening on Spotify and iTunes, she's probably 9, 10. I don't know. I don't do little kids' ages. She says, Donald Trump died? And she's like, mom's giggling, no. And then the girl says, Vice President died? No. Elon Musk died? No. Do you understand how sick and twisted you have to be to tell your 10-year-old, and there's like a 5-year-old girl there, I don't know how old those girls are, like they would, number one, know the president's names, Vice President and Elon Musk, by that much, and that wish them dead? Like, yeah. And Jenna says if she tells her girls that Taylor Swift is her best friend, they have no chance. Yeah. And here's the worst part, Jenna, I didn't tell you this. The mom is a preschool teacher, and the dad is a colonel at Fort Carson. He's in the military, and the mom is a preschool teacher. Holy hell, she's teaching other kids. Okay, 34 says he's focused up. Jamon Dumorley says the left is a virus. It's sickening. This one's really bad, and it's getting worse. I just don't understand it. And it's you can see it over and over and over and over and over, where you just don't see this on one side or the other side. I mean, it's very, very apparent. Jenna, can you show the video of people celebrating? This you could find literally millions of clips of this. Jenna, go ahead.
We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah, ooh.
I would say pour one out for Kirky boy, but I don't waste good beer on little
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah, and I could not be happier.
I cut that clip. You could find, I'm not joking, hours of people celebrating this. And if you had the ability to speak to any one of these people and say, why are you so happy about this? They'd say, because he's racist. And you'd say, show me one clip where he's racist. Just show me one. Because I saw one going around. There was a major sportscaster that said, there's one where he's calling an Asian person a chank. The guy he's talking to, his name is Chank. It's literally CHENK. Okay. He's like, I don't know what nationality is, but it's like, what are you talking about? Oh, he said, he called him the C word. No, he literally, that's his name. His name is Chank. That's his name. Or they show like, oh, I don't believe in empathy anymore. Okay, then you keep showing the whole clip and it says, because I believe sympathy is more. Like they cut so much. And the fact that this matters, if you talk to any single person on Facebook, why? And just show me a reason why you dislike him. They will either lie, okay, or they'll just make something up. Like they don't know. They've heard something and they don't realize this guy just wanted to talk. And they keep saying like, well, we just want to talk about it. We want to talk about it. You just killed the guy whose job was just to talk about it. You just literally killed him. That's all he wanted to do. He didn't want to fist fight you. Okay. He didn't want to karate box you. He didn't want to do anything like that. He just wanted to talk. That's it. And you killed him for it. You killed him because he had a different opinion than you. That is the most disgusting thing in the world. It's one of those things that I don't understand it. Like, I just can't even imagine, because I'm the kind of guy, not at Charlie Kirk's level at all, obviously, but I love to talk to different people. I love to do it. I do it all the time. My wife gets mad at me because I will talk to people that I shouldn't be talking to. I'll say, but why do you think that? What are you doing? Like, why? Tell me why. But then if I keep responding, but no, you said this, but why? Because I do. Trump's racist. Okay, why? Because he is. Or here's the other one. If I have to tell you why he's racist, you don't know. You're right. I don't know. So please tell me. Tell me like I'm a third grader. I want you to teach me like I'm a third grader, like I'm a dumb third grader. So make it very clear. Use crayons if you need to. I don't care. Okay. And they keep doing this. But now what's happening is it's starting to backfire. Finally, I think this is one of those that people are starting to get, as Brandon Calkins says, sick of it, where they're not putting up with it anymore. Can you show the next video of people celebrating and watch what happens at the end? Jenna, can you show that one?
Homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. He got shot in the head. Fuck your homie dead.
That lady got arrested and she got expelled from school. I just saw one today where someone was at Texas State and just mocking Charlie Kirk in front of the Turning Point USA booth, because they're still setting them up. And we're going to talk about that in a second too. Dave Bradley says you can't make logic out of stupidity. Yeah, stupid. No, that's Dave Bradley. The wisdom rabbit is coming in hot, and he's 100% correct on that. So she got expelled. And I just saw another one where a young guy, probably 19 years old, he started mocking everyone and faking like, oh, blood was coming out of his neck, just like Charlie had. And he got arrested and he got kicked out of school. So enjoy your life, bud. Now you got to find a new school and you got to move and do all that stuff because you wanted some street cred where you thought you would be cool and mock someone and you don't even know what you're mocking. That's the worst part. Okay. That would be like me mocking koala bears because I don't like the way they smell when I've never smelled a koala bear. But if I imagine I said, oh my God, I can't stand the way they smell. They're the worst smelling animals in the world. Have you ever smelled one? No. Oh, well then you're an idiot. Yeah, I would be an idiot. 100%. People are getting fired and kicked out of school, but they're saying now, but well, what about cancel culture? You're the ones that didn't like cancel culture. You being the ones on the right. You don't like cancel culture. You don't like it. Cancel culture with the way people were doing it for the last 10 years, or if all of a sudden I said, you know what, I have 5-year-old girls. We're at Costco. I walk my girls to the bathroom and go in the bathroom. And I don't want a dude going to the bathroom with them. Or I don't want a dude going on my daughter's, I don't have a daughter, I'm just making this up, daughter's high school track team. They would cancel you for saying that. Or maybe I don't think, anyone under 18 or anyone in general should cut off a body part. Okay. I don't think that. Okay. Yeah. Jenna says promoting murder is not free speech. That's 100% true. And the left got people for saying things like that. Now you're getting fired for being an ill-informed asshole who proved exactly who you are in life. Nick Gumbel, he's been on the show several times, Sentinel Strength. He's got a great, great show. I just saw him, he posted something on Twitter about cancel culture. He goes, 10 years ago, I would have said maybe, or it depends, I believe in it. However, after 10 years of cancel culture and the left changing the game, I absolutely agree with people losing their jobs. Remember, the left changed the game. We are now playing by their rules, minus burning cities and killing people. Yeah, let's talk about that. Have you seen one store get looted? Have you seen one city get burnt down? Has anyone boarded up anything? Not one thing. Because I've seen a lot of comparisons of George Floyd had kids, but he wasn't a father to any of them. He had, I think, 4 kids from 3 different women. Which, okay, you got to do what you got to do, but at least let's be fathers. Let's be a father to one of them. He was a known felon. He died of a drug overdose. You could literally just look that up. Autopsy. There wasn't because Derek Chauvin stood on his neck or put his knee on his neck. He died from fentanyl overdose. That's why in the car he was saying he couldn't breathe. These are not controversial statements. These are 100% true. I just don't get it. So Discord is going to be sued. Discord is just a messaging app that a lot of kids are on because there was a big group chat on it. And from the killer and his boyfriends / roommates / I don't know, furry, whatever he was, because they said, no, there was no Discord chat on it. Turns out there was. So they're going to get sued. Stephen King, famous author, great author, turned into a whack job the last 15 years. He's got major TDS. He wrote, he advocate, someone had a memorial to Charlie Kirk and he quote tweeted it. So he put above it, he said, he advocated stoning gays to death. Just saying. And Jenna, you want to show his pick? So if you're listening on Spotify and iTunes, he apologizes, I think 5 different times. He says, the horrible, evil, twisted liar apologize. This is what I get for reading something on Twitter without fact checking. It won't happen again. Why would you, this dude's, he's obviously very intelligent. He's written 100 books probably. He wrote, I've apologized. I was wrong and I apologize. I have deleted the post. I apologize for saying Charlie Kirk advocated stoning gays. What he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry picked biblical passages. Yeah. How do you not do 1 second of research? I just don't understand. Jenna, you can put that one down. And then going back to George Floyd, all the NFL teams, they're still kind of running with it, talking about how end racism. And after George Floyd, they had memorials and did this and that and this. And there was the Ravens, Bengals, Lions, Colts, Vikings were the only teams not to honor Charlie Kirk, yet all had continuous moments for George Floyd. It's kind of a bad look. It's kind of a bad look, and I think it's going to get spun around big time. Let's move on to accept and embrace. This is not going to stop until one side really throttles it down. I've spoken to several. I have several friends on the right, several in the middle, several, well, not many on the middle, several on the left, and they keep saying both sides are guilty, both sides are guilty, both sides are guilty. And I say, you got to give me some examples, bud, because over the last couple of years, I've not heard a lot of it, and I'm watching other sides. I'm doing this. I'm doing all my research. What about the last 16 years? What about the last 10 years? When was the last time a president was almost a set? Oh, that was a Trump was just literally a year ago. Jenna, can you show the black and white video?
Hi. Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent the spread.
I wanted to stop it real quick. Jenna, do you remember what the bullet casing said? Oh, yeah, it says, catch this, fascist. Okay, now this kid has heard the word. I don't think I've heard the word fascist until probably like 5 years ago. But all of a sudden, El Trumpo is the biggest fascist, and Elon Musk is the biggest fascist, and everyone's a fascist. Blah 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 blah. So this guy, and you could pull up literally hundreds and hundreds of millions of hours of this. Go ahead, Jenna.
Try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
We are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
So if you hear that nonstop and it's just pumped into your brain, you know what you're going to think? You're going to think that El Trumpo and all of his followers are fascists, and that if you have to simply do something, because you cannot allow this human being to continue, because he's going to be a dictator and he's going to be someone that he will destroy America. So it's almost like you can't blame the kid, because why wouldn't he think this? Why wouldn't he think this if it's piped in over and over and over and over and over and over again? And they're still saying on the news right now, we're not sure the motive. What the hell are you talking about? It's quite obvious on this one. Ray Charles could see the motive on this one. They just did a YouGov did a new poll, shows that very liberal people are 8 times more likely to say political violence is justified than very conservative people. 8 times. Political violence is not the answer. And if you think that is even 1%, you got some problems. You really got some problems. Jenna, can you show that poll? This is bizarre. Most Americans across the political spectrum say political violence is never justified, but younger and more liberal Americans are more likely to disagree. What the hell are you doing, man? You got to turn off the mainstream media. You got to be able to have a conversation with someone. If you can't prove it, you got to. I just don't get it. Okay, and let's think about, just like I said, last 10 years, the BLM movement. That was an interesting summer. CHOP, I don't know if you guys, a lot of people that outside the Northwest, that's where left-wing people started to literally, they took over, I think, 2 city blocks in Seattle. Okay. Church shootings, those have been interesting. El Trumpo assassination attempt, pro-life pregnancy centers, Tesla vandalism, forgot about those. Okay, those were a good time. Attacks against ICE agents, God forbid they do their job. Attacks against police, God forbid they do their job. Courthouses, statues, remember those getting torn down? What, who was doing that? And it's I'm not saying anything factually not correct. It's just, it's a point where it's wild. And you're thinking, well, they're not really coming down that hard. I'm going to show you a clip from, I think his name is Hassan. He makes over $200,000 on Twitch per month. Okay. Twitch is just a live streaming service. A lot of kids watch it because it shows just someone will go on there and play video games and kids could watch it. But this guy has a very, very big influence. Watch what he says. This is still up right now. Go ahead, Jenna.
Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
He hates capitalists, yet he makes $200,000 a month from Twitch. That's the definition of capitalism. Unless he's donating every single ounce of the money to his followers, which I highly doubt. So what's the deal there, bud? Okay. And he just wants to murder all capitalists and have their blood boil. That's a good move. It's very, very normal, very calm. You sound like someone I'd let hang out with my kids. Good job, bud. You can't call people Nazis and make up nonstop lies about people and think there will not be repercussions. Jenna, let's watch the Stephen Miller clip.
Stephen Miller, in particular, who has been very forward-leaning about the fact that they want to go after political enemies because of this. Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, posted this. Pay attention, something dark might be coming. The murder of Charlie Kirk could have united Americans to confront political violence. Instead, Trump and his anti-democratic radicals look to be readying a campaign to destroy dissent. And what are we talking about here, Manu? We're talking about if you look really anywhere on any of your social media platforms, you are going to see examples of conservatives making lists.
Like we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
So that's another Democratic senator. We're in a war. We're in a war. So if you're a young and impressionable kid, 22 years old, you're still a child, basically. You think you're an adult. You technically are an adult, but everyone go back to when you were 22. Okay. You'd say, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I wish I knew. If you hear you're in a war and you need to do whatever you need to do in order to stop this war, why wouldn't you end up? Okay. Why wouldn't you end up doing something like this? Dave Bradley says, you can't reason with dumb and demonic. The conversation's over. We are fighting back. Fight. And about 5 exclamation marks. And that, yeah, you're getting to my next point. You once again, the wisdom rabbit has stolen my thunder, but as he should, because he's so fantastic. We're going to talk about that just in the next segment. But it's one of those things where you're like, okay, well, these people aren't here. Jasmine Crockett is the next clip. She's going to be the next star in the Democratic Party. Her and AOC, they're pushing these people very, very hard, and I want them to. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great move because the more this person talks, the more I just go, wow, this can't be your leader, because she's been one talking about violence. Go ahead, Jenna.
Agreeing with you, me calling you, I want to be Hitler. All those things are like not necessarily saying go out and hurt somebody. But when you're literally telling people at rallies, yeah, beat them up and that kind of stuff, like you are promoting like a culture of violence.
And I'm sorry, but instead, we are not only going to punch you back, but we are going to knock you out. I think that you punch. I think you punch. It's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over there.
I wonder where the 22-year-old would get such an idea to fight back and punch and kick and do all this and shoot someone from 200 yards away and just end their life. A 31-year-old Charlie Kirk with 2 daughters. I think their ages 5 and 3. And his wife will never, she will never have her husband back. And it's one of the dumbest things on the planet. And like I said, if he was really that bad, Charlie Kirk, you wouldn't have to edit clips. You could just let the tape roll. You could let the tape roll very, very easily. There's millions of hours of him. And if you have some, Jenna said she was talking, which one did you see, Jenna? Oh, so many posts of the definition of sympathy and empathy too. Yeah, that one they're cutting. You see it nonstop. You can see it nonstop. I don't see any anymore because I've been just hiding friends where it's just like, I'm not listening to you because you're just proving to me that you're an idiot. So let's move on here. Working hard is not enough. What are we going to do? Like Dave Bradley says, I think no pun intended, I think this is a real big turning point. I think this is one where everyone needs to start watching their kids. If your kid goes off to college, watch, talk to them, talk to your kids, ask them, what did you learn today? Let's talk about it. Let's, what kind of groups are you in? Are they going off a path? Because this kid was, in all essence, raised right. And then within less than a year, all hell broke loose. So imagine 4 years of that. Holy hell. Keep plugging away with facts to people. That's what I always say. Keep plugging away with facts. At this point, it's almost time to stop hanging out with people that are simply blind or ignorant, as it will just bring you down. That's what I've stopped doing with my Facebook. I've just basically hiding them because I can't keep looking at stupid posts because it gets me angry. Like, why would you celebrate someone's death that you didn't even know and you just think you know? And I don't even care. It's like, oh, he's friends with El Trumpo. It's like arguing like, oh God, I don't like the pilot of my plane. I really hope he crashes. Like, do you know how dumb that is? Like that's top 10 stupid things, if not for number one. I think this is going to make people push more to the right. And it's going to draw a line in the sand, just like Dave Bradley just said. People aren't taking it anymore, just like Dave Bradley said. And that is that is the only good thing about this, is that it's opening up people's eyes like, whoa, this is a whack job central. We need to start doing this. And it's starting to pay off with the mainstream media, where people are saying like, dude, this is insane what you guys are saying. And this is the only good thing about it, is that. And to me, it's very much like my COVID moment. And I've talked about this a lot on the 106 episodes, of where COVID for me was a great separator, an eye opener, where I would look and I could see, okay, that person really believes all this. I can't stand with this. You cannot tell me, you have to wear a mask on the way to your table at a restaurant, but once you sit down, you can take it off. Like I said, so at that point, if you're a little person or a dwarf, you should never have to wear a mask because you're at table height. So does that make sense? 5 feet, you're safe. Or 6 feet? I forgot. 6 feet, you're safe, but 6.1 feet, not safe. Or you're safe, but 5.11 feet, not safe. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think this is going to harden the next generation much more. I'm telling you right now, I speak to a lot of people, and the people that are under 30, holy hell, they are becoming more and more militant. They're becoming more and more strict in their beliefs. And you have to understand, Charlie Kirk was a moderate. He was not someone that was very far right. I know a lot of people that they say, I don't agree with Charlie Kirk because he wasn't conservative enough. And now you've got those middle people that are going to lean more to the right, because they're going to say, hey, we can't have this, man. This is just not acceptable. We have to be able to talk. Before Thursday, there was 900 chapters of Turning Point on high school and college campuses. 900 chapters. Okay, that's where you set up this conservative booth. They basically, hey, you would like some more information on the Republican Party and Turning Point and how to be more conservative, things like that. 900 chapters. As of an hour ago, they had 40,000 requests. 40,000 requests. So if you didn't want to hear his name, bud, now you're going to hear it even double. And you're thinking, well, that's just not true, Rubio. Okay. The last couple big assassinations. Let's go with Martin Luther King Jr. and Kennedy. You ever been on a road with the name Kennedy or Martin Luther King Boulevard? You probably have. What about, you ever been to a government building or school named after Martin Luther King or Kennedy? Yeah, you did. You know why? Because they want people to remember their names. So don't be surprised. And I've already heard that certain schools are erecting Charlie Kirk statues. It's Charlie Kirk statues where he's just sitting behind a desk, because they want it to keep going. Here's my last point that I'm going to talk about, and I want you to remember it. Then we're going to get to confidence is the key. Remember, Charlie Kirk's words didn't get him killed. All of the lies and smears about him did. Jenna, I'm out.
You have been watching The Rubio Method.
Let's get going, gang.
Our dedicated staff is ready to work for you. Artbeat specializes in custom apparel. Call us or order online. Free shipping nationwide. Custom printed shirts are our specialty, and we make sure you get exactly what you want. Bring in your own design or let our team create one for you. Promote your business, event, or club with pens, caps, bottles, mugs, and more.
Waiting cool since 1985.
Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, AC of AC Sports Live tonight at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Rumble and all those. And don't forget, 8:30. I think it's 8:30 or 9:30. I can't remember. We've got The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. The Ride with Chevy and Nasty, both great shows. Lots of good entertainment. Very, very funny. I'm sure AC is going to talk about UCLA's football coach getting fired. Oh, it's been a rough, let's go 15 years of UCLA football. All right. I'm done with the whole Charlie Kirk thing for right now. I had to vent. I'm done with it. Confidence is the key. Let's turn it up. Let's get a little bit funny, maybe. I don't know where Jenna's questions are going to take us. Jenna, go ahead. What do you got? Number one. Where is it, Jenna? Rubio, is homework actually helpful or waste of time? Complete waste of time. When I was a teacher, I used to give kids homework on Monday. Don't yell at me yet. I would give it to them on Monday, and then it would be due on Wednesday. So if they had baseball practice, cheerleading practice, music lessons, whatever, I wanted them and it was usually just studying something. It was never like, oh, here's 7,000 math problems. I think if the kids should be able to spend their time in school. Once they're done with school, go do sports, hang out with your boyfriend, girlfriend, do what you got to do, have fun, spend some time with your family. That's what I suggest. Okay, Jenna, number two. Rubio, did you watch the Emmys? Hell no, I didn't watch the Emmys, but I did see that Stephen Colbert won for best late night show, which is really odd considering his show just got canceled because he was losing $40 million a year. So how do you win best show if your show got canceled because you were losing $40 million a year? So that's just stupid. Okay, go ahead. Number three, Rubio, if you were suddenly appointed president for one day, what's the very first law you'd pass? Oh, no time change. I want it to be light, late, all the time. So whatever that is, I don't know how it's called, daylight savings, whatever. That's the one I want. That's it. Fantastic. Go, Jenna. Number four. Rubio, pipelines out, nuclear in smart. What the hell's that? I don't speak Canadian. Pipelines out. Pipeline. Oh, are you assuming gas? Pipelines out, nuclear in, smart or risky? Oh man, that's very smart, 100%. But I'm all for drill, baby, drill too. Okay, I'm not in for the windmills. I think those are stupid. Solar, my neighbors just did solar. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I'm in for pipelines and nuclear. Let it rain. The Chernobyl was like 50 years ago. They fixed all that crap by now. Go ahead. Last one, Jenna. Rubio, which is worse for society, reality TV or TikTok? Reality TV. We'll see. I don't know if reality TV is bad for society. It's just so stupid. My wife watches all the Real Housewives of every city in the country, and it's really dumb. But Jenna says it's amazing. Oh, Jenna's fired right after this. I would say TikTok because I think social media is doing more harm than good at this point. So I would say TikTok's worse. All right. Final part of the show. The bottom line is all the stuff that you should have learned. You should have learned without realizing that you learned it. Number one, find actual facts and do some research, man. If you're going to have an opinion on someone, find actual facts and just do your research. And if you still don't like them, fantastic. Okay, but just find facts. It's not hard anymore. Number two, keep an eye on people. Okay, keep an eye on people. That I'm not saying like in a negative way, just kind of in a negative way. If you see someone struggling or you see someone going down the wrong path, because there was telltale signs of this kid, his mother and father both said all of a sudden he started going real left and, started having these issues. Okay. Start keeping an eye on people. And number three, have a brain. Jenna laughed when she wrote this one. She said, that's not stupid. Well, okay. People need to have a brain. Start thinking. I know I already wrote that in the first one, but start having a brain. Think for yourself. Don't let the mainstream media just control you. On that note, I want to thank our sponsors, Artbeat and One Shot Charlie's. Don't forget AC of AC Sports Live tonight, and also The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. Shout out to Jenna for doing a great job. And remember, thank you for sharing, liking, subscribing on Rumble, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Instagram, and ironically, TikTok. Jenna, I'm out.
Thanks for watching The Rubio Method. Thanks for watching The Rubio Method. Be sure to spread the word. And don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.